Hello, this is Matt from Rorschach's Comic again with another comic book review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Devil's Due publishing version of G.I. Joe vs. Transformers. Now, in my opinion, what Image Comics and Devil's Due Publishing did with G.I. Joe, best G.I. Joe comics out there, best G.I. Joe comic books yet to have been produced. That's just my personal favorite. IDW, yes, is doing some great stuff with them and the Transformers right now. But my personal opinion, Image and Devil's Due Publishing, they captured the G.I. Joe team the best storylines and best artwork to date so far, in my opinion. If you feel otherwise, subscribe, like, and leave a comment. So we'll get that snowball rolling, why don't we? So anyway, to the comic book. So this comic, it opens up with Cobra finding a spaceship with a bunch of Transformers in it. It's crashed, been there millions of years. And it doesn't have just Decepticons in it. There's Autobots in there too. Why they were on the same ship together, they don't explain in this one. I think they explained in later books, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I read these. But for whatever reason, Megatron, Optimus Prime, Starscream, Soundwave, for whatever reason, they're on the same ship. Now, Bumblebee and Wheeljack are on there too, but we'll get back to them here in just a minute. So Cobra finds this spaceship. Pop open the doors, find all these robots, all these laser weapons, all this awesome stuff that they can use to take over the world. And so they take all the robots home that they can get hold of, take them back to Cobra Island, and they start reverse engineering them. And they're trying to figure out how we can get these robots under our control. Well, they come up with some computer algorithm, so they're in control of the Transformers. I'm sorry. Well, of course, Transformers run on Energon, and there's not much raw Energon on the ship. So they're trying to figure out how they're going to make Energon to keep these Transformers going. Well, they figure out what they need, and they start hitting a bunch of different facilities that have all the resources they need to make this stuff. And so while all that's going on, this new counterterrorism team, which is yet to be called G.I. Joe yet, they get called G.I. Joe here about midway through not quite midway through the book, it's early on. Well, they're in this town to do security for this senator. There's some protest going on. Well, Cobra attacks this summit where a bunch of these high-profile politicians are at, because they want to get rid of one specifically, but they're not ready to reveal their hand yet. So they just take out a bunch of them. And this is where G.I. Joe first encounters and battles Transformers. And they first see what they're up against. And of course, they go crazy. All right, how are we going to fight these people? Where did Cobra get this technology? How do we get some? And so G.I. Joe Task Force is formed to try and answer these questions. So back on Cobra Island, Cobra's getting together some of the stuff they need. Well, they have trouble controlling one Transformer in particular. Can you guess who that is? Yes, Optimus Prime. Because he's a Prime and has a higher sentience, if you will, he is much harder for them to control. Well, he ends up sending out an email bomb with a picture of him, and then Kryptonian hieroglyphics are attached to it. He just emails everybody on the planet that's got an email. Every account gets an email of this picture and this text. Well, nobody knows what it means. Government saying, "Oh no, it's fake. It's fake. It's just a scam. Don't worry about it." And so they're dealing with that. Well, this guy called Mercer. Now, he used to work for Cobra. He defects to G.I. Joe. He says, "Hey, this is what Cobra's planning. This is where they at. This is where we found this stuff, these robots. And they need this stuff called Energon to power them. Well, here's where they're going to hit next to get the rest of the stuff they need for it." And so they come up with this plan. Well, they're going to ambush Cobra when they come to this research facility. And so Cobra shows up. This big battle ensues. Well, the G.I. Joes almost have their butts handed to them by Transformers, even at the last minute. Well, they get saved by Bumblebee and Wheeljack. I told you we'd be getting back to them. Well, Cobra, when Cobra found the spaceship, they didn't find the section of it that Wheeljack and Bumblebee were in. And so Bumblebee and Wheeljack, they've been running around trying to find their Autobot friends and figure out how to get back to Cybertron. Well, they find out about the attack too, and they go and they save the G.I. Joes. They tell them, hey, this is who we really are. This is where we're really from. This is what's going on. We can help you. And so, with their know-how, their knowledge of Transformers, and the information from Mr. Mercer, the G.I. Joes form a plan to invade Cobra Island and free the Autobots and, take some technology for themselves, really. Well, there in G.I. Joe lore, there is a group of generals they're the deep state, if you will. They don't work for Cobra. They don't work for G.I. Joe. They serve their own self-interests. If I remember correctly, they're referred to as the jugglers. And these guys, they just want all the power for themselves. They're not interested in Cobra. They're not interested in G.I. Joe. They're just interested in themselves. Well, these guys convinced the president to say, hey, we've captured 2 of these robots. Let's take them to Area 51, deactivate them, disassemble them, we'll reverse engineer them and make our own Transformers. And all the ones over on Cobra Island, they're too much of a national security risk. Just nuke the whole island. Just get rid of them. And so they convinced the president that that's the best option. Well, G.I. Joe, the G.I. Joe team, Bumblebee and Wheeljack, they're getting ready to board a plane to Cobra Island and go invade. These generals show up and say, hey, plans have changed. Hit those 2 with an EMP, take them to Area 51, disassemble them, we're nuking Cobra Island. And General Hawk doesn't know any better yet, so he's like, I'm sorry, orders are orders. Well, he hits Bumblebee and Wheeljack with an EMP. Well, just before Wheeljack goes unconscious, he hears what their plan is, what's going on, and he's like, they have raw energon on that island. If you hit that with a nuke, you're going to rip your planet in half. And so the rest of the G.I. Joes hear this, and having no reason to doubt him, come up with, it's either obey orders and rip our planet in half, or disobey orders, go with the original plan, and risk going to Leavenworth after we're court-martialed. Well, they choose the latter. They go to Cobra Island. Well, there's no stopping the nukes. The president's already okayed it. Nukes launch once they get to Cobra Island, and so they're fighting. Well, before they left, Wheeljack deciphered the email that Optimus Prime had sent out, and sent a virus into Cobra's systems, which freed all the Transformers, and I mean all of them. I mean, we're talking Autobots, Decepticons, every single one over there. And so they start going against the Cobra programming. They remember who they are. They break free, if you will, and they just start hammering the Cobra guys over there, tearing the crap out of them. And so it's mainly the Decepticons getting some revenge on the Cobra guys, whereas the Autobots, they're forming up. They're just trying to get the heck out of there. They're looking for Optimus Prime, make sure he's okay. Well, G.I. Joe shows up with their Autobot friends. They join up with Optimus Prime and the other Autobots, and they just start kicking butt. Well, they find out the nukes are on their way. So they're trying to figure out, well, how are we going to stop these nukes? We can't override them. The president okayed it. They won't abort them. How are we going to stop them? Well, one of the things they needed to make Energon was this satellite that's up in space, redirects sun's energy, and then blasts it down onto a target. Well, they were going to use this. They needed control over that satellite. That was the last bit of equipment they needed to make the Energon. Well, they refocus the satellite, and they use it to take out the nukes. So they take out the nukes, but it also starts firing randomly. So you've got concentrated bursts of solar energy just blasting randomly on Cobra Island, takes out Mercer, takes off Megatron's arm, takes out several other Transformers, lots of Cobra guys, several G.I. Joes, before they finally, Optimus Prime finally just, they get the location of the satellite and he blasts it out of the sky. And so everything comes out about who they are, where they're from, and in exchange for giving America technology they need to make mech suit, the armored mech suits, which are pretty freaking cool, if I might add. I'm trying to find the picture of them right now, and I'll show you. They agreed to help them rebuild the Ark so that they can go back to Cybertron. But what they don't know is Megatron and several of the other Decepticons weren't completely destroyed. The other group, the Jugglers, their guys managed to get hold of a bunch of their components and got them back to Area 51 anyway. And we're still working on reverse engineering them to use for their own plans, which that comes back to bite them in later on in G.I. Joe versus Transformers: The Art of War, which I'll review here later. That one is one of my favorite storylines from the IDW, or the Devil's Due Publishing Image brand of G.I. Joe versus Transformers. Of course, like always, Cobra Commander, he escapes. He doesn't get captured. A bunch of the other Cobra high-ups get captured, but he doesn't. Him and Starscream may manage to escape. They come to an understanding of sorts, and they're in hiding until further plans can be put into action. So, all right. I hope you liked this review. If it sounds like something you're interested, I highly recommend go out, find a copy. Best place I've found to get comic books, people, if you're on a budget like me, the library. I'm going to show a shout out to the Mount Gilead Public Library. That's where I've gotten the last couple comic books that I've reviewed, and that's where I found most of the other ones that I'm going to be reviewing here soon. Libraries are a great resource for getting comic books if you're on a budget. So go out there, get yourself a library card, and read. One of the best pastimes out there. Yes, TV and the internet is fine. That's what us millennials are into. Books, much better. Low tech. They don't require internet or Wi-Fi, people. This is low tech, high entertainment. So get reading. You got kids, get them in the library. It's great stuff. All right, people. Have a good day. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, hit like and subscribe. If not, hit it anyway. So, peace out.